Much lucky. This is the Sabbath service. We're going to start with the Sabbath service. Mijum. Going to start with the prayers. Turn the face to east, soft. Do the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shimka, Yahweh, Malakotka, Daba'ah, Ratzaika, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathananawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalatnawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalatnawa, Kabawatinawa, Wala'ah, Dabayayinawa, Manasayawan, Abal, Hawashayinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Malakwath, Wahala Allah, Wahala Parath, La Ibalumyam, Aman. In English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Thank you, so be it. We're going to do the blessings. Or it's like a hakak the power. Starting in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Baba Kushai, the Thunanawa, Hakak, La Para'al, Ka Makala, Ka Marawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lahakim, Hamathium, Hakak, Arakarawath, Hatama'ala, Lagarashun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the water, Amen. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal. It's like it. The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, thank you always. So be it. The prayer to bless Israel. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Barak Nawa, Wayasha'ala, Wahabayath, Saparium, Barak, Rapah, Magun, Hagun. Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the water, Amen. What we just said, Lord, in the name of Yahweh, or Jesus, bless and heal Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect loved ones. In the name of Jesus, thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayan Ya, Al, Hahar Yam, it's like it. Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'ain, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'arataza, Ayathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana'ah, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al, Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makarai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'athka, Waba'athka, Ma'aitha'ah, Wa'aidwalamyam. In English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is the keeper of thy. It's like the Lord is thy keeper. The Lord shall not. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Al Dam. It's like it. Al Damaya Laka. Al the Karash. Wa Allah the Shakwa. Al Kaya Hananiya. It's like it. Kaya Hana Awaya Ba. It's like it. Awaya Yaka. Yahama Yawan. Ra'ash. Al Amaka. Ya'ira Yamwa. Sawada. Wayatha. Ya'itazawa. Al Tazapawanka. Amarwaya. Lakawa. Wanaka. It's like it. Wanakak Yadam. Magawaya. Wala'a. Yazakar. Sham Yasha'ala. Iwada. Kaya. Nawataza. It's like it. Nawataza wa. Laba. Yakadwa. Al Yaka. Baryath. Yakarwathwa. Ahalaya. Adawam. Wa. Yashamai. Allah. Yam. Ma'wab. It's like it. Ma'wa'aba. Wahagarayam. Gabal. Wa'aimawan. Wa'ala wa. It's like it. Wa'aima lawa. Palashath. Am Yashabia. Tazawar. Gam Ashawar. Nalawa. Amam. Mayawa. Zawara I. Labanya Lawat. Salah. Aisha Laham. Kamadia. Kasaya. Sabra'a. Kayabyan. Manakal. Kwayashawan. Nashamadwa. Ba'aya Da'ara. Hayawa. Daman. La'adama. Shayathamwa. Nada. It's like it. Nada. Yab. Mawa. Ka'irab. Wakaza. It's like it. Wakaza Abba. Wakaza Bak. Wakaza. It's like it. Wakaza Al. Mana'ai. Kal. Nasa. Yakamwa. The Shah. Amawa. Nayara. It's like it. Nayara'asha. Lanawa. Ath. Na'awath. Alahayim. Alahaya. Shayathamwa. Kagalka. It's like it. Kagalgala. Kakwash. Lapanya. Waka. It's like it. Rawaka. Ka'ash. Daba'ira'a. Ya'ira. Wakala Abba. Dalahat. Hawayam. Khan. Daraddatma. Basa Arak Raka. Wabasa. Wapathka. Daba Halam. Mala'a. Panyaham. Kwalawan. Wabaya. Bakwashwa. Shamka. Yahawa. Yashabwa. Waya Balawa. Idaya I. Waya Kapara. Waya Abadwa. Waya Daiwa. Kaya Atha. Shamka. Yahawa. Labatka. Al. Yawan. Alakahat. Arataza. In English. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up thy head, lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel shall be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together in one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistines, and the inhabitants of our Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah, do unto them as the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which pierce at Endor. They become as dung for the earth. Make their nobs like Oreb, and like Zeed. Yea, all their princes be sluggish. All their princes as Zabah and Zalamuna, who said, Let us take to ourselves the house of God in possession. O my God, make them like a will, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Saul. All right. Yeah, you may be seated. We are in 2 Kings, starting at 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 19. 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 19. All right. So that's going to be 2 Kings chapter 19. Slightly chapter 3, verse 19 through 25. Okay. So in the Hebrew, Wayakatham, Ka, Ayar, Mabataza R, it's like it, Mabataza R, Ra, Wakal, Ayar, Mabatawa, it's like it, Maba Kawar, Wakal, Aiza, Pawab, Dapawa, Slaki, Dapa, Dapa, Yellow, Dapa Yawa, Wakao, Ma'ai, Ya, Na Ya, Mayam, Dama, Damwa, Wakao, Hakao, Kwa, Hatawa, Ba'a, Daka, Abwa, it's like Daka Abwa, Ba'a, Banayam, verse 20, Waya Haya, Baba Kwara, Ka'ai Wath, Hamana Kaha, Wakana Ha, Mayam, Ba'ayam, Mara Rock, Adawam, Watha Mala'a, Ha'a Raza, Ath, verse 21, Wakal, Mawa Abab, Mawa Ab, Shama Iwa, Kal, Kaya, Alawa, Hamala Kayam, Lahala Kam, Bam, Wayataza I, Kwawa, Makau, Kagar, Kagara Ah, Kagara Ha, Wama I Laha, Waya Madwa, Al, Haga, Bawal, verse 22, Waya Shak, Waya Shak Kayamwa, Waya Shakamwa, Baba Kwa, Wahashama, Wahashama, Wahashamash, Zaraka, Al, Hamayam, Waya Ra'a, Raya Wa'a Wa, Mawa'ab, Managad, Af, Hamayam, Adamayam, Kadam, verse 23, Waya Amar, Waya Amarwa, Dam, Za'a, Za'a, Hakara Ab, Nakara Bawa, Hamala Kayam, Waya Bawa, Ayawash, Ath, Ya'aya Hawa,
Wa'ayatha. It's like Wa'ayatha Bashalala Mawa'ab, verse 24. Waya Bawa Al Makana Yasha'ala Waya Kwamar. It's like Waya Kwamawa Yasha'ala Waya Kawa Ath Maya'ab Waya Namawa Mapana Yaham Waya Bawa Waya Kawa Baha Waha Kawath Ath Mawa'ab, verse 25. Waha I Rayam Waha Ra Mawa Wakal Kala Kwaha Pawa Ba'a Washala Yakawa Awash Ayawash Abanawa Wamala A Waha Wakal Ma'aiwa so I get Ma'aiwaka Mayam Yamath Mawa Wakal Aitaza Hawab Yapa Yalawa I Hasha'a Yawa Abana Yaha Bakwa Yawa Daka Wash. It's like a Daka Wash Wath Waya Mabawa Hakwala I Yawam. It's like a Hakwala I Yum Waya Ka Wa'a.
All right. We're going to go over that into the English. So that is 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 19 to 25. And he shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree and stop all wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stone. And it shall come to pass in the morning, when the meat offering was offered, that behold, there came about by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. And when all the Moabites heard that the kings were come up to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put on armor and upward and stood in the border. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And they said, "This is the blood of the." And they said, "This is blood. The kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Therefore, Moab to the spoil." And when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them, but they went forward, smiting the Moabites even to their country. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land cast every man his stone and filled it. And they stooped all the wells of water and filled all the good trees. Only in Kehara Seth left they the stones thereof. Howbeit the slingers went about it and smote it. All right, so this is once again, talking about how the northern and southern kingdom came together, of course, though, with Edom, right? This is talking about, how they came together because after King Jehoshaphat had died, of course, though, I believe this is what happened at this particular time. Elijah, if you go back to the prior to this, though, Elijah had just went up into the chariot, of course, and been taken away. Elisha, which was, his second in command, of course, though, or his right-hand man, as you would look at it, he was with him, and he stood by and seen everything that had happened to the point where Elijah had been taken up into the chariot. With that being said, it brought us to this point in which that Moab was getting ready to take arms up against the kingdom. And this is where, Judah had come together, of course, though, with the northern and southern kings came together, of course, though, with Edom. Now, that's not saying that we were all one as in one people, of course, though, but in this particular venture, this was a transaction between the three, right? Even though the northern and southern is all one, but they were, divided amongst themselves. Edom had went to war with both Judah and Israel. They had came together, of course, though, to battle against the Moabites. Okay, and in this particular portion of it, it talked about how this would be something very light, to go against the Moabites, to take them out. So let's read it starting at verse 19. We'll just kind of break it all down. So, and ye shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree and stoop all wells of water and mar every good piece of land. So this is basically the order that was being given. All right, don't go in there and leave anything left over. Don't leave them ways to really rebuild and whatever. So they went in and they destroyed the cities. Right? They were told to go in and destroy every city, of course, though. Get rid of all the trees, whatever, was there, just utterly destroyed. Right? Verse 20. And it came to pass in the morning when the meat offering was offered, that behold, there came water by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. Now, if you're looking at the way that the kingdom was set up, of course, though, and how these kingdoms interacted with one another, there was obviously a passage that water ran down through from Edom that would pass by, Moab, right? And as Moab, well, we'll get to there in just a second. So it says, verse 21, and when all the Moabites heard that the kings were come up to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put on armor. So now Moab is like, yo, we got to defend ourselves, man. We got to make sure that, because Moab was ready to, take arms up against, the kingdoms. They wasn't going against, Edomites. They was going against, the Judites, They were going against, they were coming against, the southern kingdom, of course, though, and the northern kingdom. So what did we do? We came against them. And this is what happened. Moab was like, yo, we got to cover ourselves. We got to prepare for war. So you ever see the movie Mulan? Mulan? It's kind of something like that. Oh, they put a decree, saying every able body from every household, one man is to come, partake in the defense of the kingdom. Well, every able body in this case was to come up and defend. Why? Because the ferocity in which that, we fought with. You understand? We were, just that talented, of course. So when it came down to this army, Moab, called on everyone. They said that, and the kings were come up to fight against them. They gathered all that were able to put on armor and upward and stood in the border. If we were to look at kind of like, kind of today, of course, though, many nations, they speak out against us. They come up against us, of course, though. And, instead of us joining ourselves together like we should to, build ourselves up, we're going to go join in their armies. We're going to go join in their service, of course, though. And that's not what's supposed to be happening, man. You understand? Like, if we made any business agreements, whether it's, with the Moabites or the Elamites, whoever, if we made some type of agreement, to, fend ourselves against the cruelties of this society, that's perfectly fine. But if you see the nations, like, for example, America is a nation that has, armed itself up with politics. They've armed themselves with different laws. They've armed themselves with the National Guard. They armed themselves with the penal system. And guess what? It's all being used to destroy us as a people, right? They're doing those things, though. And this is what should happen. We should come together, amongst ourselves. So it says, and they stood in the border, verse 23, and they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. So this is what they saw, right? They looked, it was just like, okay, we ready to go to war. And then they looked over, and it was just like, what is that? Is that blood? Oh, okay, all right. And the king said, this is blood, and the kings are surely slain. They have smitten one another. If you look at what's going on right now, they talk about the culture of our people is to destroy one another. The culture of ourselves, is to continue to have, abortions and shoot up one another. One of the slide. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Matter of fact, here it goes. What's his name? Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro goes, and gives a whole breakdown of, why we are, quote unquote, destroyed, of course, though. And he talks about its culture. He talks about the fact that we are, we went from 24 to 70% single black family households of women, right? He talks about how the civil rights movement, when that took off, of course, though, there was this drastic shift. So now he talks about we're 13% of the population. We're over 50% of those violent criminals and all this stuff. Here's the same thing that's almost similar to that, right? When they look at those statistics, it's as if they're looking like, oh, okay, yeah, Hispanics and black people, they killing one another, man. Yeah, it's a gang war, against each other. We good. So they're looking back and they're seeing how destroyed and devastated our communities are. They're looking and seeing how destroyed, we are amongst one another, of course, though. And they're thinking that that is a good thing for them. They're looking at it's blood in the water. We've come together. We've united ourselves, with one another, though. But we've utterly destroyed ourselves. We destroyed any history we had of, where we come from. We destroyed any economic systems in place, though, to help us build one another. We've completely severed ties between the black man and the black woman, of course, though. And I say that I'm speaking of all of the 12 tribes. You understand? I'm not talking about, any marriages with any of the other nations. I'm specifically talking about in scriptures how it talks about we are supposed to gather ourselves together. So we come together, of course, though, and we have more fighting amongst ourselves, than anything else. And that's what they're seeing. They're looking at it, it's like, okay, blood and water. So Moab, at this point, they looked and they saw blood in the water. And they said, this blood, the kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. If you go to Chicago and you see all the shooting and death and everything else going on, though, right? They're like, yo, King Von, is dead. They're looking at, FBG Duck is dead. They're looking, and they're seeing at the constant death and destruction that's going on within our communities, amongst ourselves. And they're looking at us like, they slain one another, right? They have destroyed one another, though. And he says, what? Now, therefore, Moab to the spoils. Moab and the other nations, they are coming into our neighborhoods. If you go down just 3 blocks over, you're now into the bricks. If you go down, less than 2 blocks over, you're over, on the 10th, right? If you go over 7 blocks, you're over in the PH, though. And guess what? They're all fighting against one another. A shootout over here in the PH, shootout over here in the bricks, and they're battling against one another for what? So, what's happening right now in the city of Syracuse? They have a project that's going down, starting from downtown Syracuse, that's going to go down probably towards Valley Plaza, of course, right? All on the south side, Seneca Turnpike, and it's going to gentrify those areas, spanning from South Ave over to, what's that street? 81. We're just going to say 81 because that's the general vicinity anyways, though. It's going to go from there, starting downtown, probably Fayette Street. That's a little too far, but we're going to just say Fayette Street. And you're going to take that all the way down to like Seneca Turnpike. And you're going to see how this area is going to change over the next few years. They're going to take down 81, of course, though, right? Because of all the death and everything else that's been going on, all the oppression that's been going on, right? They've spoiled us. They're going to take the spoils, of this city, and they're going to use it for themselves. Well, with Moab, you understand? With Moab is like, hey, we are going to take the spoils of these people because these kings, they came together, of course, though, to what? To slay us. Verse 24, and when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelite rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. But they went forward, smiting the Moabites, even in their country. So imagine if we were to do what? We got the Afghanis, that's coming to the States now. Imagine, them coming here and they're going to what? Gentrify this entire area. You're gonna probably have some Moabites here. You're gonna have some Chinese here. You're gonna have some Afghanistans here, of course. Though you're gonna have some white people move in, of course. And imagine if all the black businesses and all the black house owners, of course, though, if they came together, and said, "Nah, we're not just gonna fall for that. We're not just gonna take that." And they stood strong, and we held on to everything that was supposed. Well, that's ours. It would kind of make it, they would devastate, the economy, of this area. Well, we could do the same thing, and it's not about us doing anything spectacular other than what? Working with one another, working towards building up our people. Well, here it is. The Moabites went after the Israelites, right? They went after Israel's. And they went and they got smoked. They got put to death. Imagine, they come through, they make all this money, trying to revitalize this entire area, of course, though. And guess what? Some law gets passed, some government thing comes through and says, y'all can't do this. Y'all got to give everything back to the Native Americans. the indigenous people. They got Christopher Columbus starting on Monday, right? Or the Native Indigenous People Day. However you guys want to look at it or call it. Well, imagine if they took all of this and gave it right back, you know what I'm saying, after they made the changes. Well, this is going to be great for us. Well, we got all these black communities. They're going to be displaced, of course, though. We're going to put them into better housing, right? They're going to state and claim, look, there's been shootings in these areas and the crime has constantly gone up. Well, what if, you know what I'm saying, we spread them out so that they're not in such close proximity to one another? It's for their benefit. And when that happens, of course, though, some lawyer, some bad gadite, you know what I'm saying, comes up, you understand? And works, you know what I'm saying, and get this land turned back over to them as it should have been. Ooh-wee. What would that be like? They have dumped millions and millions of dollars into revitalizing this area or this zone and find out that they have to turn it over to the Gadites. They have to surrender it back over to the Gadites. That would be something, wouldn't it? But it says, so that they fled before them, because the Moabites came after, you know, the Israelites. They came after Israel, of course, though. Right? And that's what you read. It says, and when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. But they went forward, smiting the Moabites even in their country. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land cast every man his stone, and filled it. And they stopped all the wells of water, and felled all the good trees. Only in Kiraseth left they stones. Therefore, howbeit the slingers went about it and smote it. All right, this is what happened at that time period, of course, though, and it's something, you know, that can still happen even today. If we were to keep the law, such commandments of the Most High, if we were to turn back and show brotherhood towards one another, if we stop doing things like OnlyFans, if we stop being angry with our brother, if we stop, you know, just going after vain causes. I got to get a Bugatti. Not even a Bugatti. Listen, I got to get a brand new 2021 vehicle that's going to cost me $800 a month. Even though, you know, you don't even have a place to live. You don't have a place that's to call your own. If we were to make those type of changes, right? If we were to build up businesses and work with one another, what do you think we could accomplish? What do you think we would be able to do? They literally had the Erie Canal that flowed through here, and they cut that off. They destroyed, you know what I'm saying, the land, you know, of our Gadite brothers and sisters, right? They've taken it and given it, you know what I'm saying, to their kinsmen. What should we do? We should probably gather ourselves together, of course. We should probably take back, you know what I'm saying, you know, what was ours, right? Part of that starts with, you know, our history, our cultures, our identity. I was talking to a sister earlier today, and she even brought it up. She said, listen, I don't want to say that we're brainwashed, though, but we're blinded. We're blinded by, you know, everything that America has to offer. We're blinded by the fact that we are destroying ourselves, and we don't even realize it. And you know what? That's what they're counting on. And that's what they're looking for. We have the ability to make a difference and make a choice, of course, though. So with that, you know what I'm saying, make sure y'all tune in to the classes. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, y'all learn the Lashdan Qur'an, the Hebrew, of course, though, so that, you know, we can raise up, you know what I'm saying, strong children. You understand? Our sons and our daughters, so that they can be unified with one another. We shouldn't be out here, you know, chasing Christmas,
Halloween. How much money is people going to spend, for the Miles Morales costume? You're probably going to spend, $100, $200. Some people will go up to hundreds of dollars for a costume, buying candies, teaching children, to pass through fire, when that's not something that we should be doing. Understand? So instead of us taking on the customs and identities of other nations and people, because what? You got Columbus Day, you got Halloween, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, then you got New Year's. All this is coming up. Where's all that money going? What happened to all that stimulus money that you got? Did you take it and pay your tithes with it? No? Right. So this is what School University Practical College started on West on 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're going to go ahead and conclude, the Sabbath service for today. We're going to get into our prayers. All right. So with that, Elijah.
Saul, turn and face the east. In Hebrew, the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwatha, Daba'ah, Ratzaika, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamaya, Lathunanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawakinawa, Wala'ah, Dabayayinawa, Manasayawan, Abal, Hawashayinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Wala Allah, Wala Power, La Alumnium, Amen. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Amen. The Hakat, the power. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kushai. The Dunanawa, Hakat, La Parah, Kal Makala, Wakal Madawa, Hakat, La Tahar, Hamatazraim, Hakat, La Hakim, Hamathium, Hakat, Arakarath, Hatama'ala, Lagarashan, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Tawada, Amen. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. The blessings in the Hebrew, Barak Yitha Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, why Malak Ya'ala, why Alahayim, Matazabaya, Alwap Yahana, Ha Alawapium, Ha Savranyam, Ha Kwatazayanyam, Ha Kalyayanyam, Wahakwathium, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, the water, Amen. In English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, Commander Jimmy, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you always. So be it. All right.